Hello, so I'm here with Jackie Copley, who's campaigns lead at CPRE, and we're going to have a quick chat about the raft of announcements and consultations coming from the government at the moment about solar energy. So Jackie, can I finally get solar panels on the roof of my house?
Well, we hope so, and we hope it will be soon. What we've been calling the government to do is to actually require new homes to have solar panels fitted as standard, because we know that's a really good way of helping people to reduce their bills and also to use clean energy. And we're hoping that more grants will be made available, and it will just be simpler for people who already own a home to get panels installed.
Okay, and what's the future home standard?
So the future home standard, it relates to building regulations. It's requirements so that they basically mean that houses are safe and that they have technology such as boilers that no longer use gas but use clean energy. Okay. So ground source heat pumps and air source heat pumps. So you get a lot of energy efficiency, you can keep your properties powered and warm at just a massive reduced cost. And
has CPRE been involved in that?
Very much so, yeah. We supported Max Wilkinson, an MP who brought forward the Sunshine Bill, and within 2 or 3 weeks we managed to get about 10,000 people to write to their MPs. So it was a really good response, and as a consequence of that, Matthew Pennycook, the Housing Minister, has promised by the end of this year most new homes should be required to have solar fitted.
And I've also seen that there's a car park consultation going on at the moment. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, so again, CPRE did a report a couple of years ago showing that there's a lot of wasted space, so rooftops, car parks, and also brownfield land, and as well as the new home standard that we were just talking about, there's also a consultation on car parks. So in the future, all car parks will be required to have canopies with solar on them, and that basically it means that they'll be generating clean electricity, and hopefully as people transition and have electric cars, they'll be able to power their vehicles. So it's a win-win.
I know that there's also another consultation about national policy statements, and that relates to kind of solar on the ground. What are national policy statements? What's the consultation and why does it matter?
Yeah, the government basically has national policy statements for energy and also for other big kit like water. And the energy ones are looking at how we can bring forward more schemes that are consented, but that we make sure we get our environmental regulations brought forward at the same time. So there are a lot of jigsaw pieces at the minute. We're asking for a land use framework so we get a good sense of how we're using our land. We want to make sure there's enough land for recreation, for farming, also for energy. We understand energy is part of the mix, and in order to get clean energy we will have to be accepting of some solar on the ground, but we just want to have conversations about where are those best locations. Probably not in the most prominent. Let's avoid national parks and national landscape, and let's also make sure our best and most versatile soils are retained for food production. So we would say yes, find spaces that where you're not losing productive soils, and also make sure you're getting ecology benefits by doing things so you can secure off areas so you can help ground nesting birds. You can also have some farming. But we want to look at what the best practices are, and we'll be hoping to support developers with good practices.
That's great. And finally, what is the solar roadmap and when is it going to be published?
So the solar roadmap is a way of increasing the amount of solar development. The government has said they're going to do a roadmap. It will basically explain how they're going to upscale quickly, and we're expecting that to come out in spring.
Okay. And finally, how can our supporters get involved with?
Yeah, so we've got a hand raiser at the moment, and you can go onto our website and find out more about it, and that's urging government to make choices in the way energy is brought forward in a way which is kind to the countryside. And what is also important is making sure people are at the heart of the planning process. It's very important that local communities can be engaged, and we also want to look at how communities themselves can bring forward energy projects, because when that happens they're usually of a more modest scale and they're better in terms of ecology, and the benefits just go directly to the community, so it saves money on the bills, and it can also help things like heat local community centres or swimming pools and things like that.
And the hand raiser has 3 demands. Can you just summarise what they are quickly?
Yeah, so the 3 pillars to the hand raiser. The first is getting new buildings with solar installed. The second is looking at retrofitting. In the first instance, we ought to be putting solar on very large scale buildings like warehousing and farm buildings, barns, dairy sheds, and helping. Let's get the power out and let's make sure the green grid update focuses on existing places rather than hooking up very remote countryside. And the third one is to do with good land use principles. We've got a finite amount of land and we're expecting an awful lot from it. We just want good decisions to make sure we're basically following sustainable development principles, so we get win-win. You know, we have food security, but we also have clean energy.